Yeah, it's your boy Champ, and this is the Champ is Here show. And we got a special guest here today, Jason Fulford, aka Foof, in the building.
Yeah, what's going on?
Sir, what's going on?
Alright.
Pleasure to be on the show.
Yo, it's a pleasure to have you here, brother.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So Jay, please tell me a little bit about yourself, to introduce.
Well, my name is Jason Fulford, born and raised in Brooklyn, downtown, Gowanus. Definitely got a passion for being an educator. I've been in the education system for about 15 years now. So, I love working with youth, seeing them grow, being a positive leader, positive example. And, I'm doing a lot right now. I know you're aware of some of the things that I'm doing.
Right. Absolutely. So, as an educator, do you teach or do you just oversee a program?
Well, right now I'm the coordinator of community programs at the school that I work at, and I also work with recruitment and doing some restorative justice work, some restorative practices, so bringing that to the school as well.
Okay. And I know that you are a runner.
Yes, sir.
You're a runner. So let me tell you something. I considered myself a runner just because, I run into the park, fitness and whatnot.
Sorry.
But until I ran with this guy, I was like, wow, compared to what he does, because I thought it was running, and then he just turned it up a notch and just, left me in the dust, you know what I mean? But it's all good. I'm working to that level though, but tell us a little bit about the process, what it takes to be a runner.
Yeah, well, I've definitely been running since 2017. I got into it. I ran for my school. I ran a marathon to raise some money for the school that I work at, Community Roots Charter School, which is located in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. But yeah, and then I just got that strength, man, from the motivation of having the kids, excited about me running the marathon. And once I ran the marathon, I linked up with Black Men Run. And, just wanted to be that positive example in my community. And we run through New York. So it's like we representing everywhere, changing the narrative of a black man. And, the media don't like to portray things like that. So I take pride in being out there with my brothers and really showing what we're capable of. And that's running marathons, being strong. And like my boy Nip said, the marathon continues. In all aspects of life, it's a marathon. So
absolutely,
training my body and mind to run, I think, has just kind of boosted me. And now I'm ready for a lot of things I wasn't prepared for. So I'm blessed to be a runner.
And how has running changed your mindset? Because, it takes a lot of mental energy and stamina to just do, running.
Well, I actually think running is more about the mindset and more about what you tell yourself you can do. I think that once you're aware that your body could put yourself through 26 miles, 26.2 miles to be exact, and I'm a 3-time marathon.
Oh, talk to him.
You know what I mean? New York twice and Chicago once. And it's like once you realize you can do that, I felt like I tapped into something special. And not physically, but mentally. And, it's like everything in life, I try to apply that extra mile. Let me go that extra mile. Because I done did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. Like, I done did 26.2 miles in a row. So I know I could go that extra mile. And it's something that, when you're out there, I feel like your body is about to break down, but your mind has to tell you, like, I can carry myself. So I try to apply that to all aspects in life, and I try to share that with people. You know what I'm saying? Because I think sometimes we program to limit ourselves, when in all actuality, we only going like 10% most of the time.
Correct.
So we got a lot more in the tank. So, I'm just glad I found that. And it's also been the fountain of youth for me, man. I'm about to be 39 next week. And,
wow.
Feeling great.
That looks like 25, right? 39.
When I started running with you guys, I was thinking the same thing, man.
That's great.
Putting me to shame. Track runner for 4 years. I'm like, I can barely keep up with these guys. What's going on?
This guy, he's on another level. So talk more about Black Men Run, because I know that you use that as an anchor and as something that catapults you into activism. So just let's talk about how that started.
Well, you know, I had a friend that was part of Black Men Run, my boy Akeem, who's doing wonderful things right now, man. He has a workout group that they meet up every day.
Okay.
And I'm just so proud of him. So I wanted to take the time to really shout him out. Because one thing that he's doing during this pandemic is he's bringing this sense of community back. And I feel like that's what it's about. And with my Black Men Run group, it was like, you know, in the running world, especially as a black man, you kind of feel a little excluded from certain groups.
Right.
And when I ran with them one time, I just knew that was the brotherhood that I wanted to be a part of. And
that's awesome.
you know, they pushed me and helped me through training for that first marathon. So, and I also feel like they kind of got me to meet a lot of people through running, because we're a big part of the culture, you know what I'm saying, as Black Men Run. And being that group of black men that has this positive, glistening look when we run through, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like, it's some power to it. And we do hood runs once a month, like we'll be in Brownsville, East New York, because we want to spread that energy, that love, you know?
Okay.
And that's kind of what got me into doing the Run for Justice, which is coming up July 18th. You know, mark your calendars.
Mm-hmm.
And people could sign up. You can look me up at JFUF, JAYFUF 15. And the link is in my bio, so you can get all of that information. Because you can do the run virtually as well. You don't have to join us on that day.
Okay.
You can do it from wherever you're at. And just so that people can know a little background about myself, Eric Garner was my cousin.
Right.
You know, which you know and are aware of.
Yeah.
And you know, recently I've been very outspoken after the recent events with George Floyd, and actually the New Yorker magazine did a piece on me, and you know, that was the first time I really kind of allowed myself to be super vulnerable and tell that true story. And a big reason for that is because I just feel like, you know, I grew up in Gowanus, and I think that sometimes we carry a lot of trauma because we don't talk about things.
Right.
You know,
right.
and it's like kind of looked down upon in our communities on the kind of things we should talk about, being like masculine and, you know, having to like kind of have this hardcore persona. So a big part of me speaking out is to try to help people understand that it's all right to be vulnerable at times, and sometimes that vulnerability could turn into somebody else's strength.
Right.
You know, so
100%.
I'm hoping my story could really reach people. And you know, everything I try to do is like in memory of Eric, and that's why I feel like I got to do that run once a year. And luckily I teamed up with, so that shirt you got on, the We Run Kings County, you know, that's a product of the Running Edge. Yeah, which I have, it's a running group that we have, and it's more of a running company that we do work with the youth and also do work with communities. So it's the Running Edge, and we're partnered with Overthrow New York City,
Right.
which has a facility in Manhattan, and they're a great organization. And my friend Power Malu, he decided to do the Run for Justice a couple of years ago.
Right.
So I reached out to him last year and said, you know, it's going to be Eric's 5th year anniversary in July. I would love to team up with you and do a Run for Justice. So we did our first one last year. We had over 100 runners come out on a 96-degree day, which was crazy.
Right.
Because, you know, they still came to show love, even though it was sweltering hot outside. And we ran the streets of Flatbush, you know.
Right.
And and the runs is like geared to show and speak on like the injustices that are going on in our communities, you know what I'm saying? Because Eric isn't the only person, especially like me, myself personally, has lost to police brutality. When I was 13 years old, my friend Nicholas Hayward Jr. was killed by a police officer because he was playing with a toy gun in a stairway, you know. So in 1994, when I'm 13, he's 13, you know, I kind of really understood that police aren't out here to protect and serve us, and we're already viewed in society as a threat at 13, you know. And that was a harsh reality, but it was something that I learned real quick though. You know, I had to swallow that, and that's why I feel like it's important for me to really keep this fight going and keep this momentum going that's out here, because You know, I believe I'm a leader that could create change, and I think leaders build up other leaders. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for no followers. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for the future leaders. So, you know, that's what I think my calling is, and I'm gonna stay true to that.
No, that's what's up. That's well said, man.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
You know,
I was gonna say you touched on a couple of things we talked about last episode.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we talked about police brutality, and on the last episode, I was just letting people know that don't get misconstrued for what police are. They're created to harass, and they're not here to fight crime. They're here to respond to crime.
Yes.
That's why they're called first responders.
Yeah.
So in the community, you know, it's a double-edged sword. I get what, you know, what's going on with the police and whatnot, but I truly believe that it is our responsibility to police ourselves.
It is.
You know?
I totally agree with that. And that's why, you know, you guys know me personally, and one thing that I take pride in is holding myself accountable.
Correct.
And I think that that's where a lot of this work begins, you know. And I'll share that at a time I feel like I was a poison in my community, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't holding myself accountable. I was doing things that I know was it was self-serving. It wasn't serving my community. And I think that that's another reason why, like, me knowing that I've been on that side, it kind of gives me more energy to go in this direction that I'm going in now, as far as really building up the youth, you know, helping them understand that you could do things like running, meditation, you know, yoga, things that aren't really typical that you see in the hood. And also a big thing is, you know, I turned vegan some years ago, maybe like going on 2 years, and it's changed my life because I'm aware of what I'm eating. And I think that's another thing. A lot of our communities are food deserts, and it's something that needs to change, you know? Because if you only have an option that's not going to help you or benefit you nutritionally, like how are you supposed to succeed out here?
Absolutely, yeah. So basically, I know that having the right foods will help you develop mentally, you know, because your brain doesn't chemically mature until your mid to late 20s.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if you're not eating, don't have the proper diet, sleeping at the right times, this can create certain mental issues that we have into the hood. And I'm not necessarily a sympathetic person, I'm an empathetic person, but now I'm growing and I'm understanding that people have problems, and sometimes it's not what you see on the surface. There's other things going on, underneath the surface. So we know that the community, we have mental health issues. So do you want to speak on certain issues?
I mean, I'm definitely someone that tries to speak up about mental health because I know the impact that it has on people. You know what I'm saying? And I know that it could come in various ways. You know, like what you were saying. It could be based on a bad diet. You know. And it's just driving you crazy, and you don't know what's going on, but it's actually your diet that's changing your mood all the time, you know, your mental, your mind. So it's like, you know, let us just try to understand the power of what we ingest. And I say that not only food-wise, though. I say what we listen to, what we watch. And I think our youth really needs to get back in the habits of reading a lot more. You know, because you could kind of control what you're reading. I think when you're focusing on a screen, the people behind that screen is focusing on, they're creating what you're focused on.
A program.
You know,
a TV program. That's what exactly. That's what it's called, a TV program.
So at least with a book, you can choose which book you want to read. You can choose what you want to learn about.
That's a fact.
So I feel like, don't just think what you're ingesting is the food. You know what I'm saying? It's way bigger than that. It's about what you eat, but also what you're seeing, you know, the images you're putting in your head. And, let's just keep trying to talk about these things that need to change, because we know that there's a lot of growth that needs to happen in certain communities. And I feel like food is just another hurdle added to that layer, you know?
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
ever since I made the change where before I was doing construction and working in the city, and just seeing all of the advertisement, even though I'm walking to the train and going home, all of those things are entering my subconscious. And ever since that I made the change, I believe that.
You talking about to go take changing your diet or?
No, my mental diet.
Oh, okay.
This is just what we're talking about with
Okay.
food. We're just talking about. It's not just what you eat. It's the things that you're watching. It's the things that you're reading, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. You know, by changing my mental diet, switching the music, because I listen to the Afro beats. I listen to classical music, just like I listen to hip hop and I listen to R&B. Listen to alternative music.
Yeah.
So just changing those things have changed my brain chemistry, has helped me in my success. You know? So.
And I'll be real with you. You're one of the people that, you know, has come into my life and has shown me the importance of reading. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
And you know, just having more facts available through reading. You know, and I feel like that's another thing, man. We're so quick to just, oh yeah, I heard that from somebody else. Let me repost that, or let me tell somebody else that. Like, when are we gonna fact check each other a little more? You know what I'm saying? Because this ain't a time to just be following and listening to all kind of information. This is a real time to be about facts.
Right.
And a lot of fake news out there.
You know what I'm saying? And we've been, especially the black community, we've been robbed of so much real history. So it's like, we're already kind of behind. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been taught. Like, why was I taught Christopher Columbus was a hero? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what's that about? Why wasn't I taught about Shirley Chisholm, who was the first black woman to run for president? Or the first woman to run for president? Because we go to her park, you know, sometimes.
And the thing is, I want to, and I know because I don't know, I know there's other people who don't know. You definitely put me on to Shirley Chisholm, because that's a park that we run to on Saturdays.
Yes, sir.
And when you asked me that, I didn't know. So can you speak on a little bit on who she is? And
I mean, she was the first woman to run for president, and she was a black woman, very outspoken woman.
Wow.
I'm not gonna pretend like I know more than I know about her. But I do know that she's somebody that I would love for us to find out more about and share more about, because that's an important piece of history. You know, that she was the first woman to run for president, but also the first black woman. You know what I'm saying? So
dope.
Yeah, and I believe it was 1972. But again, if somebody could fact check me, you know. But definitely a very outspoken person, especially about politics. You know what I'm saying? And the injustices that lie within politics. And trying to be a person that would change
1968 was it?
68, I was close.
You were very close.
You know?
70s, you know.
Yeah. Oh, actually, she was, 68, she was elected for Congress. I apologize. You were right. 72
all right.
72 was when she ran for presidential election.
But I still appreciate the fact check, because we got to the bottom of that.
Absolutely.
Share that with everybody.
And it's a lot of history we don't know, you know what I'm saying, that I think has been hidden from us. You know, and things that just I think would be important for our youth to see. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing. The media really controls the narrative, you know, of how the black men and women are portrayed, and it's sad because we know, you know what I'm saying, what we're capable of. You know, even in our communities. You know what I'm saying? Like I always talk about. I've met people in Gowanus that have given me so much knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't go to Harvard or Yale, you know what I'm saying, or Ivy League school, but I'll tell you though, they have as much knowledge because they're self-educated and really took the time out to get an authentic and real education and dug a little deeper. So, you know, they were able to share some things with me that I feel like I would have never learned, you know? And that's another thing I want to celebrate more of, you know, like let's go into these communities and celebrate people that, one, make an impact, because I know there are people that do that, and two, that have knowledge to give others, you know? And that's why I'm a big advocate of, like, we need more, like, facilities, you know what I'm saying? We need to buy more property that we could use as spaces where we could have these kind of talks, share history, build up our youth, mentoring, you know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of it now needs to lie on us. We can't wait for somebody to give our youth a better future, you know? I think we really need to take control, and that's why with the organization that I'm coming out with, it's going to be the J-Soul organization, and the Soul, S-O-L-E, stands for Spreading Out Love Equally.
Spreading Out Love, that's dope.
And a lot of it is going to be about just making sure that we're spreading out the resources equally, because I feel like, you know, right now, right, with this movement, a lot of people are saying like, yeah, we love black people. Show me, share your resources. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm gonna do my part, because I know there's funds out there to get the kids the things that they need. And with my organization, I'm gonna work with people on doing our best to get all our resources together and spread them out through communities that are in need.
Okay. So talk more about this organization. So this what does it fall? Is it like a business? Is it a non-profit?
It's going to be a non-profit, and it's going to be under my parents' organization.
Okay.
It's going to be under their umbrella. They have an organization called Brooklyn Youth Association.
Okay.
And it's going on 30 years that they've had the organization. And they just run like sports programs for kids in the community, you know, and that's been going strong for like, I believe it's 28 years now.
28 years.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, you know, it's just kind of building on that, carrying the legacy that my parents have left for me, you know, and my mom is going to be the vice president, and my dad's going to be the treasurer, so they're going to be heavily involved in this organization, because I really look to their guidance. And, you know, my parents, I just got to big them up, because, you know, I kind of went left, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
At one point in my life, and they really didn't give up on me, you know what I'm saying?
No,
as much as they tried to, because they both grew up in Gowanus and wound up working so hard to get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just attracted to things that I probably shouldn't have been attracted to, but I say probably because I feel like I did, and I could give so much experience now to others, so maybe it wasn't the worst thing. You know?
Maybe not.
Listen,
maybe
everything
not.
happens for a reason. It's a part of what made you who you are today. So
Definitely.
And me personally, I love the underdog story. You know, just from coming from the ashes and coming up and just rising to the top. I just believe that that's what the championship show is all about.
That's
just coming from the gutter, understanding, you know, what the plight and what it takes to move up to the top. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not something that's just given to you. And I just be the fight. So talk about a little bit about the J Soul.
The organization or the brand?
The brand.
So the brand just got the LLC, and I'm gonna be dropping some merch soon. So I'm excited about that.
Nice,
you know.
Nice.
So y'all, you know, I'm gonna make sure y'all fly and look great out here. Especially
athletic fancy gear.
That athleisure. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So people just look out for the J Soul brand though, because my real goal is eventually for the proceeds, like a percentage of that will go right into the organization once everything is set up with the organization.
That's dope. That's dope. All right, guys. You know, that's basically we gotta just wrap things up. Hey, Foof, do me a favor. Is there anyone that you want to shout out before we get off?
My partner that I talked about with the running edge. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, with the shirt right
there.
he runs
Kings County. He runs Kings County.
I just want to shout him out because I know he's going through a rough time right now, man. He lost his pops, and I just want to say, like, he's taught me so much. You know what I'm saying? And he's been such a mentor. He's just a year older than me, but in such a little period of time, he's taught me so much and about, like, just understanding the culture more, understanding history more. And I just want to say, man, Coach Toussaint, man, thank you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been a super influential person in my life. And the fact that you asked for one person, like, my heart is really with him right now. So I felt the need to bring him up.
Okay. Definitely I want to shout out Longchamp Training. Definitely shout out.
We're going to collab on that too, man. Longchamp Training, J Soul, look out for that collab.
That's we've been training for a little while. You know
we have been. Results coming soon.
Absolutely. Gabe, is there anybody you want to shout out?
Just a shout out to the viewers, shout outs to the listeners, shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to what else? AP
Records, yeah, definitely doing his thing. Segueing and doing his own thing with the interviews, and I'm learning so much from him also. Shout out to Longchamp Success LLC. We're moving properties, so if you're definitely looking for a house, we're definitely doing that. We're moving also to different ventures.
Mr. Longchamp about to get in there too.
Oh yeah, Mr. Longchamp, yeah, definitely jumping in there, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. Again, shout out to the listeners, shout out to the viewers. Appreciate your support. Thank you for all the people who are just being activists and fighting. Shout out to the protesters, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement. We're definitely doing our thing. I feel like we're moving in a positive
right now.
direction.
It's all about Black power.
100%. 100%. And lastly, just don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Cheers!